Hello everybody, Collector Charles here, and we have some breaking news, and yeah, it's pretty big news, to say the least, in the hobby. Yeah, PSA parent company, Collectors, has acquired Beckett. Yeah, that in and of itself should be enough, and for me to say like, comment, and subscribe. Good night, everybody. But no, this needs to be discussed a little bit more in detail. The little underliner here is Beckett will remain an independent brand and utilize its own operations. So this happened today, Monday, as we're recording this, and has been covered already quite a bit by Sports Card Dad. I think Mike Geo from Sports Card Nonsense already touched on it a little bit. Professor Sports Cards even came on and done like a mini live for like 5 or 6 minutes just to let us know that he knew. But let's dig into this, because there's an article from Cllct that will tell you all you need to know about what's going on here. And as you can see here, PSA parent company Collectors acquires Beckett. So we'll scroll down here, and we're going to give some little tidbits here as far as like what's newsworthy about all this. Of course, it's Ben Burrows and Darren Ravel who wrote the article up today. So the parent company of PSA Collectors reached an agreement to acquire grading competitor Beckett, which was announced by the company on Monday. Beckett will remain an independent brand and continue to utilize its own operations, customer service, grading standards, marketplace, magazines, and price guides. That's according to the statement from Collectors. And the statement from Nat Turner, CEO of Collectors. I am pleased to share that the iconic Beckett is joining the Collectors family and will continue to operate as its own independent brand within our portfolio. So you've already noticed within about 2 or 3 paragraphs, they have mentioned numerous times, we're going to be an independent brand. Guys, it's okay. Just chill out. Everything's going to be all right. It's going to be independent from PSA. Just, you guys don't worry now. Everything's going to be just fine. Nothing to see here. Yeah, okay. So, right. Of course, Nat Turner, who's got to put his own personal spin on everything. The first card I ever submitted for grading was to Beckett. Interesting. Then why didn't you buy Beckett first? It's interesting, isn't it? Maybe it's because it just wasn't worth as much as what PSA is now. But, you could have done something different. You could have bought Beckett first and let PSA go on its own and survive and bring Beckett back up. But at the end of the day, Nat, you might be a collector, but you're also a businessman. And as a hobbyist, that really hurts your credibility. The first card I ever submitted for grading was to Beckett, and I consider Collectors custodians of this important icon in the hobby. We believe that strong, well-supported brands help grow access to the hobby. Oh my God. How many times is he going to say the hobby? Take a drink every time he says the hobby. He considers Collectors custodians of this important icon in the hobby. So what he's trying to say is he's going to clean up Beckett? Because that's what custodians do. They're janitors. Is he a janitor? Is he a janitor of this important icon in the hobby? Am I reading too much into this? Maybe. Huh? Am I? What? Okay. So, of course, orders at PSA and Beckett are expected to be processed normally, and there are expected to be no changes in pricing as part of the acquisition. Just going to throw that out there. I call bullshit. Just saying. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Sources told Cllct, PSA, and Beckett will not share staff for grading operations. Okay, so that's a big mistake. Because from the last couple of weeks of scandals from PSA, it seems like they could use some help. You think? But no. We're just going to keep them separate. They're going to be separate. We just own them now, but they're separate. Right. And then here goes the history here of Beckett. Founded by Dr. James Beckett, Beckett Media and Collectibles has been known for its line of magazines and price guides, as well as Beckett Grading Services, which was launched in 1999. Beckett sold Beckett Media in 2005. And here's an interesting little tidbit here that I don't think a lot of people would notice. There's a bigger one down here and an even bigger one down here, but this one stood out first. Collectivist Holdings was announced as the new parent company for Beckett in December of 2024, with the company overseeing Beckett as well as accessory maker Dragon Shield and car distributor Southern Hobby Distribution. Sources told Cllct Dragon Shield is not a part of the acquisition. Interesting. Beckett's acquisition is the second time Collectors has acquired a major trading card grading competitor. Collectors acquired SGC in February of 2024 and has since been in the process of transitioning the company into a boutique grading brand. Okay, and you're going to also notice this down here. Pretty important. That acquisition arrived alongside the resignation of SGC President Peter Steinberg, with PSA President Ryan Hogue overseeing operations at both companies. So I wonder how long it'll be before Hogue ends up running all three of them. Here's where things start to get a little bit weird, if you ask me. Now let's read it. We might as well read the rest of the article here. According to third-party grading tracker GemRate, PSA has graded more than 18.3 million cards so far in 2025, and you can tell because most of them are just not graded very well. Among the other major card graders, CGC Cards has graded 4.7 million, SGC has graded 1.4 million, Beckett has graded nearly 790,000. They're under 800,000 this year grading-wise. But here's where the plot twist comes in. Of the four major card graders, CGC is the only company outside of the Collector's umbrella. PSA, SGC, and Beckett combine for roughly 79% of the overall grading market. So what the headline should be here is Nat Turner and Collectors have cornered the market, purchasing 79% of the overall grading market after the purchase of Beckett. That's how it should be headlined, because that's what's just happened. Just an absolutely... I mean... How is this not a monopoly? How is this not monopolizing a certain genre in the hobby? How is this not monopolized? You have cornered 80% of the market for grading by buying Beckett. SGC's graded 1.4 million. That surprised me this year. I mean, that's crazy, actually. Beckett only grading 790,000 is even crazier to me. Or I think it was 770,000. Yep, 770,000. Or no, it was 790,000. I was right the first time. Long day at work. I'm tired. Some people actually work in the hobby. Not calling anybody out or anything, but I digress. Here's the thing. Professor Sports Cards said this, and I'm going to elaborate on it. This is not good for the hobby. It's just not. Don't get it twisted. Just in case you missed it, this is not good for the hobby. Any company that corners 80% of anything is not good. This wouldn't be good in any business. This wouldn't be good in internet services. This wouldn't be good in wrestling, for example. Imagine if the WWE and TKO decided to buy AEW and the National Wrestling Alliance. Hey, but they're still TNA, which they're doing business with too, by the way. But they're still MLW. Yeah. Or maybe a better example is if WWE bought literally everybody else except AEW. but they've still, WWE is cornered, they would have cornered, 80% of the market. Which is sort of what Vince McMahon did back in the 80s. But that's wrestling. That's neither here nor there. I might have Monday Night Raw on the background, but I digress. There may be a ladies' match going on. Might be a little distracted, but nevertheless, Ivy now grew her hair out. I'm just saying, she's a different woman. And Maxine Dupree is just a wild woman. That woman's got hair. I don't know where she got that hair from, but good grief. Anyway, I'm just trying to really distract myself from having to address this because, man, I got back in the hobby a few months ago. Summer, to be exact. And appreciate everyone acting like I'm a total, complete newbie. Like, he's such a hayseed. Oh, shucks, look at him buying into brakes, and he'll learn one of them days. He'll learn the vintage rules, and he'll learn, that back in our day, we didn't do that bullshit. Let me tell you something, okay? I'm not going to toot my own horn, but let's give it a little toot here, all right? So I went to college for what I'm doing here right now. As a matter of fact, I was probably one of the first 100,000 people to make a YouTube video, actually. 2006, that's when YouTube was in its infancy, right? And one of our first projects in our broadcasting class was to make a stream a video. Now, of course, we didn't know anything about copyright and trademark and all that crap, so, we just made like a kind of a jackass video, and I had over 500,000 views before, there was a copyright strike for having a Frank Sinatra song in the background or something. But this is not new to me. The video format here is not new to me. Talking in front of people, not new to me. I was a radio DJ for 4 years. I've been a disc jockey. I've done voice work. I know my stuff. I know how to broadcast. I know how to convey myself. But when you mix it with something you're passionate about, like the hobby, like the sports card hobby, something I've been, I was fond of when I was a kid, it just takes me back to simpler times when I was able to collect cards like Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, Michael Jordan, then eventually Kobe Bryant, Jason Kidd, Grant Hill. I could go on and on. I tell you who I didn't collect was Christian Laettner. I didn't collect that man for anything. I still hate Laettner, by the way. This is not good for the hobby, guys. I don't care what the influencers will say. And this ain't me knocking any of them. I'm not going to knock like Sports Card Dad. I like Dustin. Dustin was one of my first subscribers. I'm not going to knock the guy. He's actually a good guy. But if he thinks this is good for the hobby, he's wrong. And the same goes for Mike Geo. I like Mike Geo. He's one of the coolest people in the hobby. I dig Mike Geo. He's one of the real people. He'll talk to you. He'll be honest with you. Now, you might not like some of the stuff he does, but, he's not going to bullshit you about it and try to spin it. But if he says this is good for the hobby, he's wrong. And I can already tell you Jeff Wilson's going to think this is the best thing that's ever happened to the hobby. Beckett saved. Yes, sports card investors. Hallelujah. It's almost like he's like a televangelist or something for the hobby. For your love gift of $500, I can open this Tier 1 box and pull a Jim Rice autograph to 25. And grade it and get a PSA 10 for some reason. Maybe it's because I have a PSA grading thing in my card shop now. No wonder he's been head over heels getting railroaded by the upcharges. Which, by the way, if you don't think that's coming to Beckett, especially when you get a Black Label 10, you're delusional if you don't think it's coming. It's almost like it's a pissing contest between collectors and fanatics to see who can do more damage to the hobby first. And I got to tell you something. I think Fanatics is going to have them beat, because it's one thing when you're grading the cards. It's another thing when you're making the cards. And Fanatics makes the cards, they break the cards, and they price the average person out of the hobby. Whereas if you ever want to have a chance of making money at the hobby, good luck going through that and going through collectors and going through Beckett or PSA or SGC now. So one way or another, they're going to get your money. And they've got the market cornered here. And this is not good, guys. This is not good. Now, do I know exactly why it's not good? Like a word-for-word diatribe on why it's not good? No, I don't have that yet. I don't have it yet. There's a litany of things that could go wrong. Let's start with the fact that your Beckett cards aren't going to mean much of anything if PSA or collectors decide to phase out the brand and not grade anymore. You ever think about that? Food for thought. They've done the same thing to SGC, turned them into a boutique brand. A boutique brand. Right. Boutique. What are they going to turn Beckett into, huh? Well, here's my idea, and I'm going to leave with this because I've been doing this for 16 minutes now because I just tend to rant. If Nat Turner wants to do this right, if someone is able to get this video done and have him watch this, here's how I would do this whole grading company thing if I were to somehow acquire collectors and acquire all three of these brands. You use PSA for ultra modern. You use Beckett for the junk wax era. And you use SGC for your vintage. So you want to grade your Mickey Mantle? You have the option, don't get me wrong, but you're going to be recommended to do SGC. If you want to grade your junk wax cards, you want to grade your Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards, your Michael Jordan rookie cards, you go through Beckett. Get that black label 10 on one of those Jordan cards or one of those Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards. And then, of course, your ultra modern stuff, do it through PSA. You do things that way, you basically have a sector to where if you want a certain card and you want to grade it, it's going to go to a certain company to get graded. That way you're not showing any favoritism or you're phasing anybody out. You're basically giving each grading company its own credence. You want a Beckett graded Jordan card, it's the only way you're going to get a graded Jordan after this, whatever time frame it is. If you want a Cooper flag, you get it graded through PSA. If you want a Pete Rose, a Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Sandy Koufax, Nolan Ryan, you go through SGC. Just some food for thought. It's got to be better than what they're probably thinking, to be honest with you. Because who knows what they're thinking right now. All I know is Nat Turner can't be happier at this point. He's just bought his childhood in his mind. But what he doesn't understand is he could even end up being responsible for ruining it. Like and subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. How's this going to impact the hobby? Will it impact the hobby? Am I overreacting to this? Am I underreacting to this? Is there something I'm missing? Comment, let me know. Give a like and subscribe so more of my videos can reach the masses and people can get some clarity and some balance in this hobby for a change and not spin and conjecture. Or either really angry or really happy. How about a balance? Anyway, I am Collector Charles. PSA Parent Company Collectors has acquired Beckett. The amount, by the way, they've acquired them for has not been released yet. So once that comes out, I guess I'll maybe update the video or post another update. But either way, once again, Collector Charles here. Thanks for watching.